Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start with the further exploration of dynamic typing in Python, and our today's topic is data types. So first thing arises, what is a data type? In our yesterday's class, we learned about the input program for converting the string into an input integer number. Okay, so why or how we are able to convert it? Today we are going to learn about it. So first thing arises, what is a data type? Representation of a type of data present inside a variable is known as data type, means what kind of data we are storing. Next thing, in Python we need not require to specify the type explicitly. Why I'm saying this? In other languages, for example C, C++, Java, we need to specify that this variable is of int type, okay, integer type. So we have to write int a is equal to 10. Whereas in Python, we need not to write any int or float. We just write a is equal to 10, and Python interpreter easily specify it that it is a integer value. So it's an integer type of variable. Based on the value, it assigned it automatically. That's why Python is dynamically typed language. Now let us take another example. For suppose I'm having two variables. First a, okay, I'm assigning a is equal to 10, and then I'm assigning a is equal to 20. So if I'm assigning a is equal to 10, so the first thing, a points towards the 10 value, which is at certain address in the memory. Okay. Now what happen if I'm assigning a is equal to 20? So it, instead of creating a new value or changing the value at this place, it start pointing towards the value 20. Okay, it creates its reference towards the value 20, which I have told you earlier that in Python, variables are not containers. These are the references that made towards the address of the particular value. Now I am taking two different variables which I am assigning the same value. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 10. Now what will happen? So just like in other languages, we have assigned two different variables at two different places. Whereas in Python, we are only pointing towards the same address or the same value. So here A and B are pointing towards the same value. Because of this, it makes it dynamically typed. Now moving on towards the different data types in Python. In Python, basically, we are having 14 by default data types, which we classified broadly into certain sets. So first one is a string, which belongs to the text type. Next one is integer. Integer are having two parts. One is a signed integer and the other one is boolean. Next we are having the decimal form, which is known as the floating point. After that we are having the complex form, which contains the imaginary and real number. I think all of you have studied about the complex numbers. All of these falls in the category of numeric. Then we are having binary, which works on 0 and 1. In this we are having bytes and byte array. After that we are having set. In set we are having two types, set and frozen set. After that we are having sequence, that is a continuation storage of data in the memory, in which we are having list, tuple and range. After that we are having mapping, in which we are having dictionary in the form of key value pairs. Now we will study it one by one in our Python IDLE. So I am opening my Python IDLE. Here I am having my Python IDLE. First we are going to study about the integer, or you can say the numeric data types or the numbers. In this first one we are having is integer. So here I am storing a is equal to 10. Okay, printing the value of a is 10. Now b is equal to 20. So we are having value of b is 20. Now we require two different functions to check the typecasting and the other conversions in Python, or check the data type in Python. So first one is type function. Type functions tells us what kind of data, what kind of variable it is. Okay, so here you can see that A is of which type? It is of integer type. Same case, type of B is also integer type. Okay, next one is if I want to check the address of A, then we require the function named as id. I'm writing it here so you can see here the address of A is this, and if I want to check the address of B, now address of B is different one. Now as in a earlier slide we checked it that if I assign B the value same as the A, okay, now what I'm doing, I'm assigning B is equal to 10 also. Now what it happens, it changed the value of 20 at the same address, or it point towards the value of A which is at the address 512. Now let us see. Okay, now I'm checking the ID of B. So change, you can see over here, it is at the same address as that of A, right? It is the same value as that of A. So from here you can see that in Python, variable is not a container. It just refers to the address of the value. Okay. So here we have completed the first part of numeric types, that is integer. Now in integer we are having boolean values. Okay. Now see, if I'm writing bool, we all know that we are having the values as 0 or 1 in bool. What happen if we write bool 0? Okay. Now it will give us the answer false. And if I'm writing bool true, bool 1, what happens? It will give me the answer true. Now why we are counting it in the form of integers? Let me show you. If I'm writing true plus true, okay, so my answer is 2. Why? Because true is having the value 1 in boolean format. That's why it is a sub part of integer. Okay. Our next data type is float. Fine. So here our next data type is float. We are going to store the first float one. Let us take A is equal to 2.89. Okay. So the value of A is 2.89. Now I want to check what type of data it is. So if I'm checking, then it is giving me float. Okay. In float, we are having two types of data. First one is a fractional form, that is in the decimal that we have written here. Next one is in the exponentiation form. Okay. Now let us try to store the exponential form. Fine. Now I'm storing 4.6E3. Okay. So here I have stored. Now I want to check what is the value of B is. Okay. Now I want to check type B. So it is also in the float form. Now why we need the float type of data or the exponentiation form of data? Because the exponential form can represent big values in less memory. Okay. And second thing, it is required in the scientific notations, because in scientific notations we are having very large values. So for that we required exponentiations values. It can check up to, or you can say that it can give us up to 15 digit precision. Okay. What it gives? It gives up to 15 digits precision. Now we are moving towards the third one, or the third type, which is the complex one. I think you all are familiar with the complex type, which is having iota and format, that is the real number and the imaginary part. Now let us try to store that. Okay. So here I am storing Z is equal to 1 plus 2.6J. Okay. I stored the one value. Now I check the value of Z. Okay. Here if I want to check real part of Z, then I need to write Z dot real. So first the real part is 1.J, and if I want to check the imaginary part, then I need to write Z dot imag. So here 2.6 is our imaginary part. Now what type of variable it is? So I am writing type Z. Okay. So it belongs to class complex. So till now we completed our numeric part, that is this one: integer, boolean, floating point and complex. Okay. Now we are going to work on text. Fine. So here I am giving a value in a string. Okay. For suppose I am writing S is equal to silver. Okay. So if I want to check what type of value S is, so you can write type S, so it belongs to class string. Now is it necessary only to give letters in a string? No, it's not necessary. Here you can check out if I'm writing 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the numeric values, but I'm giving it in a string. So now if I want to check the value of S or the type of S is, what type of object is this? String, and value of S is 1, 2, 3, 4. It directly converts S, the numeric values into a string. Okay. Now we are moving towards our next data type, which is list and tuple. So till now we have learned about the numeric one, text one. Now we are going towards list and tuple. We are not having bytes, byte array, set, frozen set, and range and tuple in our course. But if you people want to study, then you can let me know. I will take it in my next chapter. So now we are going towards list. Okay. Now let's store a list. Here I am taking L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the way in which we are storing a list. So if I am writing the values of L, I am getting a list over here. And if I want to check what type of data type is having L, so we are typing L. So you can check the type. Here it is list. Same case if I want to make it as a tuple. So I have need to write in a parenthesis 1, 2, 3, 4. I will tell you later on why I am taking list and tuple both. Now I am taking type K, so it is of type tuple. Same case the last one, which is used in mapping. There I am creating a dictionary with the curly braces, comma 2. It is in a key value pair, so we are having the values as first one is the key and the next one is a value. Where I'm ending my dictionary. Now I'm printing it, and if I want to check what type of variable it is, then I'm typing it D. So it belongs to class dictionary. Okay. So till now we have learned about the numeric data types, that are the integer, float, complex, boolean, then a string, then list, tuple, and dictionary. Now we are moving forward to the differentiation between the data types. Okay, so what is the difference between immutable and mutable data types? First one, immutable. Immutable means which can't be changed. So here those data types, or you can say that those variables which can never change their values in place, these are known as immutable data types. And those which can change their place, these are known as mutable data types. So we are having integer, boolean, float, tuples, and string. These are the immutable data types. Why? Because their values can't be changed. Whereas list, dictionary, and set, they can change their value. Now I will show you how we are saying it is a mutable data type or it is immutable while I am changing their values continuously. Okay. So here we are having back to our Python shell. Now what I am doing, I am storing few variables. I am giving p is equal to 5, right? Next I am giving q is equal to p, fine. After that I am giving r is equal to 5. So here I have created three variables. P is equal to 5, q is equal to p, that means q is also 5, and now I am giving r is equal to 5, that means all of them are pointing towards 5. Okay, so first I am checking the address of value 5. Okay, so the address of value 5 is, in last we are having 352. Now same case I will check the address of p, it is also same. After that I am checking the address of q, now it is also same. After that I am checking the address of r, this is also same. So all the variables are at the same address, they are pointing towards the same address. Now what happen if I change their value? Okay, r is equal to 7, I am doing it here. Now I am checking the address of r. So ID of r is, it changes to 416. So you can see here, it is clarified that variable names are stored as references to a value object. Okay, each time we change the value, the variable reference of memory address automatically changes. Okay, so that's why they are immutable. They are not changing the value at the address. They are just referencing towards the other one. Okay. Now we see what happens with the list. Okay. So here I am going. L is equal, we are having the list as L earlier. Okay. Now what I am doing, I am changing the value of first position in list is equal to 8. Okay. It accepted. Now value of L is 1834. Okay. Fine. Let us check the ID of L. That is the address of L. It is at 696. I am changing it again. I am changing another value in L is equal to 16. Okay. Now my list will look like this. Again I am checking the address of L. So here I can check. So you can see here the address of list is same as earlier. That's why it is mutable and the other variables are immutable, because they are just changing the address on which they are pointing instead that changing of the value. So I think now it is clear to you how immutable data types are different from mutable data types. Okay, now we are moving towards our next topic, which is type conversion. So in type conversion, what we do, we convert one type value to another type value. How we are doing it? By using the 5 inbuilt functions which are here: int, float, complex, bool and string. Okay, so let's see how we change it or how we are able to type conversion. It is also known as typecasting. Now I show you an example over here. It is also known as explicit type of conversion. Here I am taking a variable x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2.8 and z is equal to 1j. That is the imaginary or the complex value. So here I am converting int to float. I am having a is equal to float x. That means the integer is converted to float. Similar case, float is converted to int by using int, and int is converted to complex by using complex. Okay, we will take this example further. And note, keep this thing in your mind that complex values cannot be converted into int or float. Okay, so let us understand by the examples. So first we will go through this example itself, then we will take the further ones. Okay, so I am storing the first value, a is equal to 1, or you can take the variable as x is equal to 1. Fine. Next one, y is equal to 2.8. Okay, z is equal to 1j, because it is not having any real value. Clear? Now we will check the type of a, b, x, y and z. Okay, type x is int, type y it is float, and type z then it is complex. Now I am converting it by using the functions. So first I am converting a is equal to float x. I am converting an integer value into float. So the value of a is 1.0. If I want to check the type of a, now it is float. Similar case, I want to convert the float value into the integer, so I am using y. Okay, b is equal to int y. So value of b is 2, whereas the value of y is 2.8, but value of b is 2. If I want to check what kind of variable it is, so I can check from here. Type b is integer class. Okay, now I am converting the integer into the complex one. Okay, let's see. C is equal to complex, and here I am giving x. Fine. So the value of c is 1 plus 0j. 0 is imaginary because we are having only real value in it. So the type of c is complex. Now similar case, if I want to convert the x, that's the integer value, into a string one, what I need? I need the function str. I'm using it, s is equal to str and then x. Okay, that's the variable we are having. So now the value of x is 1, and what kind of variable it is? Type of s is string. Okay, What if I want to change the same integer to bool? So here I am writing b is equal to bool and I am giving the value as y. So the value of b is true because it is not 0. So by default it is taking true. So here we have learned about how to convert the different data type into the other ones by using int, float, complex, bool and string. It is also known as typecasting. In our today's class we learned about different data types. After that we learned about two different type of data types, that are the immutable and mutable data types, the different types of data that we are storing with their examples, and then in the last we learned about the typecasting in Python. Okay children, thank you.